what I see is 10 years
Right.
of constant movement.
Yeah, it's actually 9 years, nearly 10. It'll be 10 this Christmas.
And you were starting out as a drummer, huh?
Started out as a drummer, yeah. I used to play for like this punk group, punk rock music. And I was one of the first black drummers in Birmingham, I suppose. And the first gig this group ever did, they were called the Dum Dum Boys. The first show we ever did, the beat supported us. And that's how I met the beat. And I became their frontman somehow, I don't know how. I just really liked their music, it was good, you know, and different from anything else that was out at that time.
So you joined up with the beat, and then the band splintered up?
Yeah, about 4 years later we split up, and me and the other vocalist, because there were two vocalists, we formed General Public, and that lasted for 4 years again. And now here I am on my own, carrying on the flag, if you like.
Now, who are you playing with tonight?
Well, who's playing with me tonight,
Yeah.
I mean? Right, I've got Bobby Bird on guitar. He hasn't been in any famous groups before. Foss Townsend on drums, the same with him, he hasn't been in any groups. The bass player, his name's Horace Penter. He played with the Specials, and he played with General Public as well. And Nigel Darville on keyboards. He used to play for the Fine Young Cannibals. But I mean, you know, half of us have had experience and the other half hasn't, so it's quite a mixture.
So how long have you guys been playing together?
About 6 months, 7 months, actually playing together. Because, you know, like when I made the LP, I bought a computer, went home and programmed it all. And when I was ready to go on the road, that's when I got a group together.
Now you have the group on 2 cuts on the record?
Yes, that's right. That's the 2 rocky ones, which are Your Problems and Point of View.
A confusing question is, how do we refer to the band?
This band?
Yeah.
Dance.
Well, no. Rankin Roger and General Public, or General Public, or, you know, it's been really confusing.
I wanted it to be called Rankin Roger's General Public, but I mean, it's just Rankin Roger and that's it. And that's about time I made my name. Now, I spent 8 years being a frontman, and people know the groups I've been in, but they don't know my name. It's about time people knew my name, you know, I've worked hard for it.
And that brings us to Radical Departure, which is the Rankin Roger record.
That's right. It takes a while to get into it, because it's underground, but it's commercial as well. It appeals to a wide range of people. I couldn't, you know, a lot of people have told me it took them 3 or 4 listens, and then they started to hear what I was saying, you know. But with my music, I presume it takes a while for people to get into it. But once it's got you, you're hooked.
How would you describe the state of your career right now?
The state of it? Well, I don't think I'm a pop star, right? I mean, people have always said, because you've been successful, you're a pop star, but as far as I see, I'm not. I never have been, and I never will be, because when I'm at home, I don't live the pop star life. You know what I mean? All my family are working class, you know what I mean? And therefore I live that way. I'm not really that rich. I've made enough money so I can live, you know what I mean? And I don't have to live off the state, you know. I could say I've made a living out of it, but I'm not rich like pop stars are, you know.
Is your home still in Birmingham?
Oh yeah. I'm proud to be as well. I mean, the difference between Birmingham and living in London, everybody goes to live in London in the music business, but there is definitely an unfriendly feeling. You know, you see someone on the street and you say hello and they totally ignore you, you know, they think he's going to mug me. Whereas in Birmingham, it's the total opposite, you know, you say hello to someone and, you know, hello, nice day, isn't it, you know. Although there's a high rate of unemployment there, people still seem to get on and socialise, which is important.
What I'm seeing is that there's a form of music coming out of the technology of our time.
Oh, definitely. But the thing is, you have to watch how you use the technology. I think a mixture of machines and the human element will still make it sound live. I mean, if you listen to Top 40 today, it's all synthesizers. But I think more people are going to, you know, bring the live thing into it. Like, I think the guitar is not dead, basically.
The 80s music seems to be incredibly aggressive.
I don't think it's as aggressive as the late 70s. Well, you know, looking at it from like the late 70s, I was in England, and the music that was happening then
Was you talking about the underground there?
Oh yeah. a lot more wild than the music what you hear today. It seems like in America or England, to get a top 20 hit, you have to sound a certain way. You have to sound really mellowed out, and you have to sound like a radio band nowadays, which is not fair, because there are a lot of good groups out there, but nobody's paying any attention to them because they don't sound that way. But I think all of a sudden, you know, radio's going to start waking up and going, yeah, it's starting to get boring, we need something new. You know, when they find less people are listening to their station. Really, America should have one radio station that reaches everywhere around America.
Like,
you know what I mean?
BBC.
Like Radio 1. You still keep your other stations, you know what I mean? But have one station that reaches everywhere and plays every different type of music. Then I could say, this is the United States of America. But from what I've seen over the last 10 years, it's definitely separated. You got your country station, you got your black station, you got your pop station, you got your this and that. You haven't got one station where you can go, right, this is community music. This is for everybody, you know what I mean? And I think this is what you need, as far as radio goes. From the time I saw people like the Police, you know, I mean, not everybody likes the Police, but what they aim to do, you know, the way they blended pop and reggae together was really clever. You know what I mean? From the time I saw that, that's when I started looking at music differently. You know, I'm thinking, yeah, I can see it. You know, there's definitely a, you know, not a market, but there's definitely a new music here. You know, and with all the computer stuff happening, one good thing that's going to change is, to be successful, you're going to have a lot of rhythm. You're going to have to be really rhythmic. Rhythm music is taking over the world. If you look at a computer and whatever you program into it, it's dead metronome. So therefore, it's got to be rhythmic. You know what I mean? To work and make any sense to you. You know, and I think that's gonna have a big part in the next 4 years.
The computer work?
Well, not necessarily the computer work, but rhythm. What I'm saying is, computer music has helped to bring rhythm more into the forefront. You know, things have to change all the time. It's like, you know, 100 years ago, it was Beethoven who was carrying the swing. But I bet if Beethoven had all the toys what we have nowadays, he probably would have had a heart attack. You know what I mean? I don't think he'd be able to, you know, believe you could put something up and press one button and it all comes out, you know. I'm sure he would have gone mad. I know he was mad already, but he would have gone madder.
Tell me a little bit more about working with computers. That was a major part of your recent record.
Yeah. I mean, I advise anyone who wants to work with a computer and music to get a user-friendly one. What I mean by user-friendly is a lot of computers only do what you tell them to do. But the one which I use actually tells you what to do. If you make a mistake, it'll tell you, like, you know what I mean? You got this edit facility where you press this one button and you can see all the notes on a display on the screen. And it tells you all the notes, and you can change them where you've made them wrong and stuff. And oh, it's so brilliant. It's like a big, massive world in there, you know. I find it was a lot easier to work on my own because I did it all at home. I just spent 6 months at home, and when it was ready, I wanted to record it. I saved about 80,000. No, that's a lie. About £40,000 I saved using the computer because I didn't have to pay musicians. And that was a bonus, because then I could pay my mortgage for another 6 months, you know what I mean? So, you know, and keep the business running. So, I mean, it depends really. You gotta have the tick for it. I mean, what I mean is, you've really got to be into it. If you want to do it, you'll do it. You know, if you think, oh, this is going to be too hard, then you'll never do it. But it's the first couple of weeks, it's like banging your head against a brick wall. If you're not new to computers, but like everything else, you learn a certain code and you can get around that computer easily. I mean, I get around mine with no problems, and I've read about 3 pages of the manual ever. You know what I mean? And I know how to use it. There are a lot of things I don't know, but as far as from a musician's point of view, it's all there for me. You know what I mean? The things what I don't know, I don't need to know. I mean, they're too technical. I don't need to know them anyway. But anything what I need for making music, you know, and playing the notes and pulling them in time and changing them and stuff, that's all really easy to use. So, I mean, anyone who uses them, a user-friendly one is the best one.
And it's just changed the whole face of writing music itself. Huh?
Well, it has, you know, yeah, it definitely has, but I mean, the way the music sounds, I mean, a lot of people, when they hear my record, they go, that's a good backing band. I mean, they don't even know it's, you know, it's samples which are doing all the work, you know, because with the program I've got, you can, you know, the same thing I was saying about computers being metronome all the time. Well, with my program, which is called the C-Lab program, you can put things as much all the time as you want. You can make them as live as you want. So if the beat's here, you can make it start here or here instead of here. And it really does make a difference. But the other thing about my music is I always have live guitar on it. So then it sounds like it's a group playing it, you know. It's live guitar and live vocals, and some of the synthesizers are live as well. So that, I mean, that's why it's really hard to tell, and that's good. There are saxophones on there. The saxophones are real. But all the other horns are sampled horns. All the drums are sampled.
All these things add up to contemporary dance music.
Oh yeah.
UB40 in particular is popular right here.
They've done quite well. They come from Birmingham as well. Yeah, well, that's where my LP was recorded, at their studio. So,
in the bio or something it says you like singing about real things, and then, you know, the list goes on: heroin, unemployment, army, violence, keeping your opinion. One that I was particularly interested in is the breakdown of community.
I think, I mean, that's only me, and what I say doesn't mean a thing, because when I write my lyrics, I don't want to push them down people's throats. All I'm saying is, this is what I think. What do you think, you know? But what I've seen over the last 10 years, or the last 10, 15 years, all I've seen is things getting obviously more modern, which is right, because you've got to go forward. But at the same time, everything modern that you buy nowadays, it's all centered around one person. It's all individuality, you know. So you have a pair of Walkmans nowadays, and that's for you only, you know. And like, it's because of stuff like that, it breaks down the social barrier. You know what I mean? Instead of more people going out, they're stopping in instead and playing the CDs and stuff like that, you know, and the computers to go with that, because that's all one-man business, you know what I mean? And that's, I'm just saying, you know, be aware of that, because that is what the world's turning into, you know, certain parts of the world. I mean, we have everything now, you know. You got your telly, you get fed up with the telly, you watch a film on the video, get fed up with that, you switch the radio on or play a record, and I mean, you don't have to go out anymore if you don't want to. It's all at, you know, it's all at home. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. I think a lot of people are going to start forgetting about reality. That's what's going to happen. I mean, you've got to be in touch with what's happening in the world, you know. You know, the Russians might come tomorrow and people would never know, because they've been locked in their houses, you know, pressing buttons, you know. So you got to, I mean, people have got to be aware. But how can people be aware? This is where it gets confusing. When you switch on the telly and you watch the news, you see something on the news, and you go, oh, that's terrible. And then as soon as the adverts come on, you forgot about it. You know what I mean? And I mean, I do that sometimes, I admit it, you know. But it's when you stop and think about all these things, you realise how stubborn human beings really are.
What kind of view does the world have of America?
It's a difficult one. It's really difficult. I mean, because I've travelled and I've spoken to American people, and I know a lot of people think the same way as me. It's just that people don't say what they think. You know, people should say what they think more often.
In America?
In America. American people should say what they think. It's the United States, and I can't see enough unity to call it that. Definitely not. I just hope that the future, especially for our kids, you know, I hope there is a future, you know, because the way we're going, ozone layers and all that business. I mean, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
You've gone from early days in Birmingham to international musician.
Right.
You know, do you have any perspectives from that? It's been a long journey for you.
Well, it has, yeah, but I haven't looked back. And probably because I haven't looked back, that's probably why I'm still down to earth and, you know, sort of aware. It's hard, really, because, you know, you need to get exposure from TV and radio, to get hits, you know what I mean? But when the general public see that, they see you in a different way, you know, they see you as an idol, you know, and you try and explain to people, you go, look, I'm just the same as you, and they don't want to know. But usually when I talk to people, they can see that, you know what I mean? Because I don't go on like a pop star or anything like that. I don't really intend to. Even if I sold as many records as Michael Jackson, you know, I wouldn't live in no air-conditioned ice box for 20 years. It wouldn't make me any younger, you know what I mean? So I just take it as it comes, and I respect people who come to see me play. I respect people who buy my records, you know, because if it wasn't for them, then I wouldn't be here touring right now, you know. So I think for anyone who makes it, the main thing is to just stop down to earth, you know, see it all as, you know, a bit of a dream, if you like. I mean, if you see it as real, then you'll believe it. You'll start believing you're really important, you know. I don't think I'm more important than you or that girl standing over there, you know. We all have our views. It's just that I've had the benefit to pull it into music and say what I feel. I think other people should say what they feel.
Here we are in the middle of America. If there's anything you'd like to say,
right, just
now's the time.
Just peace, love and unity to everybody, you know, and you know, I just hope we can get on. I just hope, you know, everyone can get on and live together, because this world's not going to be much of a world in 10 years' time, you know. I mean, I believe that, honestly. I can see it a mile off. I can see.
And 10 years isn't much time.
10 years isn't much time. It isn't. It's all right having all these nuclear arms talks and that. I mean, that's sort of helping a bit. But he hasn't got rid of any. You know what I mean? He hasn't got rid of any nuclear missiles. They're still being built all the time. I mean, we've got far too many of them, and the thing is, how are we going to get rid of them? You know, they're not easy to get rid of. You can disarm them, but they'll still leak 10 years later or 20 years later. So we've half killed ourselves already, even if we turn back. You know what I mean? It's just, who's going to press the button? Well, I don't think anyone will, but you might get a silly, stupid person who does. You know, a warmonger. Oh, we ain't got any of them. If there was a war between Russia and America, people always said there'd be no winners, which is very true. But I reckon the Americans have got more money and probably even more power. But I think the Russians are definitely working towards peace. I know the way people live in Russia isn't very good compared to the way we live, because we have, you know, nice cars and, you know, nice televisions and stuff, and they still have tractors and black and white tellies, you know. And can't even find a pair of jeans if they want one. But I think the people over there think exactly the same as the Americans. I mean, someone told me once that Americans, when they go to school, they are brought up and told that the Russians are the threat. That makes people really frightened, and that's why people are anti-American. It's because they're frightened, and it's what they've been told in their childhood. But I've spoken to Russian people as well as American people, right? And the Russians don't want to fight, man. You know what I mean? The Russians want peace as much. I mean, we all want to live, and the main thing in life is survival. You know what I mean? And we all want to live, so let's hope for love and unity.
So now it's global survival.
That's right. It's definitely, yeah. I mean, if we get wiped out, the next race will be the scorpions or something, or the bow and arrows again.
Well, that'd be safer.
Yeah, it definitely would be. Yeah. As far as I see religion, I don't understand, right, why, you know, like England, we have England, and right next to England is a place called Ireland, right, and we've got a lot of trouble there at the moment, which has been going on for 500 years, right. Now you've got the Catholics and you've got the Protestants, right. Now both these people believe in God, but they're still bombing each other, you know what I mean? Then you go to the Middle East, they all believe in God, it's just slightly different, but it's the same God. And they're all fighting for God. Well, God said, love your enemies. You know what I mean? So, I don't know if they're doing the devil's work, but religion is definitely screwed up, because too many people are fighting each other. They all believe in God, yet they're fighting each other because there's something slightly different, that's all. You know, and the Rasta thing, the Muslim thing, you know, the Hindu thing, the Christian thing, the Catholic thing, it all leads to one thing, one God, and they're all fighting against each other. So something's wrong. You know, people are led astray. I believe in God, but there isn't one particular religion which I follow. I was brought up Catholic, you know what I mean? But I do believe in God, and I believe there is a God, and I read the Bible and stuff. But I couldn't go to any religion because they're all, Muslims hate the Sikhs, and the Christians hate the Rastas, and the Rastas hate, you know what I mean? It's like, hang on, we're meant to love each other full stop. We all believe in one God, and that's the way it's meant to be.
It's kind of stopped up over words.
Oh yeah, and if people can't see that, then that's how blind people are,
So, religion seems to be stopped up, and politics seems to be a little stopped up.
Right, now that's what's happening now. Politics and religion are coming more and more together. And when they are, which, they're starting to merge now, when they're fully merged, it's going to be like Julius Caesar days again, man. You know what I mean? You believe in God, you get your head chopped off, and, I can see that as well. It's fascinating. I could go on all day with hundreds of different views, which none of them are probably not necessarily right, but, anything could have happened. Nobody else knows, so I could be right. You know what I mean?